All right, welcome to our team call and our team training for Team Renovate. Today we are talking about tracking in our business and why that is important. A lot of us just got back from Summit, or you're definitely like getting on that momentum in the business. Everything is just super exciting, super important right now with where we're at in this business. There's a lot of momentum behind everybody on the team. So what I wanted to talk about with this call with everybody in particular is making sure that you guys are tracking your business correctly. I was on the phone with Nicole the other day and I said something very smart. So, I was like, we were talking about why we track. And I was like, we don't track because this was a mind block that I had first about the business is because I'll tell you straight up, I didn't track for the first 2 years of my business, and I'm in year 5 now. And I've been tracking pretty consistently really for the last year and have just seen that volume growth. But I felt weird tracking. Like I felt like that was just treating people like a number or like a sale. And I never ever want to do that. I never want to seem like somebody who's an icky salesperson. I want to be the kind of person who is really to helping out to build my team to do things right. And I felt like if I was tracking them, that wasn't a good thing. But what I learned at the training was we don't track because we don't care about the people. We track because we care too much not to. Because how would you feel if you were talking with somebody and all of a sudden they forgot to message you back? Like you're like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to change my life with you. And then they get a cold message from you in 3 months was like, hey girl, like nobody likes that. I don't like that. I feel icky when I do that. So the importance of tracking and managing my business, which we'll also talk about in the second part of this call, is just paramount. So going on that, we track because we care about our people and we don't want anybody to fall through the cracks because it doesn't feel good to fall through the cracks. So once I got past that barrier, I've really been able to kind of see the changes in my business, see how that's going. So I want to talk to you guys first about tracking, and then we'll move specifically into what we do during our Power 30 minutes. I told you guys in the group that I would share on this call how I built my business I went diamond working a little more than this, but building my business in 30 focused minutes a day. Beachbody talks about it being a power hour, but I know of so many coaches who can do it in 30 minutes. It's not about having an infinite amount of time. If anything, with me now being self-employed, I would say that I'm at a disservice to myself because I get so distracted with my day, having so much free time, that I was a lot more efficient in this business when I didn't have time. So we'll talk about that after we talk about tracking. So as we talk about a lot of your goals and really thinking about, you want to be a working coach. You want to say, I'm a working coach, I'm making an income in this business. So to do that, you are hitting Success Club 5 at least once a month, or at least every month as your goal, either in your business center or if you have another business center working with somebody in your household. So Success Club 5, that means helping 3 people a month. And I say that not because it's scary, and it is a benchmark that corporate sets for us. It's a reward that we get from corporate. It's not a requirement. But for me, that averages to helping about a person a week. And if I'm calling myself a working coach, I should be helping a person a week. It might be a Success Club sale, which would be like a challenge pack, or any order on Home Direct over $100, that also gets you Success Club points. But it's also signing somebody up for Beachbody On Demand, giving somebody our new collagen. Any of that kind of stuff to me also counts as helping someone. So that's where I think of Success Club being more like a guideline. It is a person helped, and then they go into our group because that's how we run things here. So thinking about that, we first want to think about how many people a month we need to talk to find those 3 people, and how many new people or revisited conversations we need to have. So in thinking about this business, the way that that works is we have basically it's the rule of 10. So ideally, when you're asking people to do something, to try something new, you're going to get more no's than yeses. You just are. Most of you on this call told me no. So that's okay though. Yes, Nicole told me no 3 times. I think Evie was the only, Evie and Crystal both. Evie was like, yeah, I'll do it. But Crystal like straight up asked me. Alyssa, well, we won't even get in on it. Crystal walks up to me, I want to do what you're doing. That was the best. But so as we're talking about we're getting our no's and our yeses, right? So for my rule of thumb and what really kind of helps keep me going and staying positive, because I don't like hearing no, I don't like feeling icky like that, is I'm going to get 1 yes for every 10 no's. And I will literally count the no's to make me feel better, being like, I'm getting closer to a yes, I'm getting closer to a yes. Or if I get a couple yeses in a row, I'm like, I got to go through a few no's before I get through a few yeses. Like, we got to walk through those valleys. So in thinking about that, so we're saying we want to help. So we want to hit 3 people as our goal in our business, right? We're talking about hitting Success Club 5 minimum. So we want to help 3 people. We got to get 10 no's to get those 3 yeses. Okay, that's 30 people to talk to. How many days are in a month? 30. That is 1 person a day. I don't know about you guys, but I encounter or talk to or see 1 person on my social media like something a day. I mean, just between us, like I'm liking all your stuff once a day. So you have these people around you. You have these people in your corner. I was talking to my hairdresser the other day because I was like, oh yeah, she might like to do this. Because in talking to people about this business, what we want to do is obviously we share this business, right? And the way that I think about sharing it and also getting through the no's is it's kind of like you're asking somebody to go to the movies with you or go get a cup of coffee. Sometimes people have already seen the movie. Sometimes people are busy. They don't want to go. They can't go that time, but maybe they want to go later. Sometimes it's not in their budget. Maybe they just had to put new tires on the car. Sometimes they just don't like scary movies, but maybe they'll see a comedy with you. Like, it's not against you. It's them. Like, and you've got those people who are like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Or then like you work through those conversations. So those are your 30 people, right? So we're talking to our 30 people. I can't keep track of 30 different things at once. How many times do you go to the grocery store and forget something if you don't have a list? Every day. Everything. Oh, we got AJ too. What's up? So you've got your 30 people. You have to find a way to keep track of them. There's a couple of ways to do that. I'll first share with you how I do it. I do it digitally, but a lot of people will do it pen and paper. The reason I do it digitally is it is searchable. So I can say, have I talked to Crystal before? Yes, I have. Instead of, have I talked to Crystal before? Did I miss her name? I don't know. Keep scanning. That's hard. So I like doing digital because it's scalable also. So now in my business, as I'm pushing towards premier and elite levels, working with you guys, building this team, I try to talk to at least 100 people a month. Because I'm also working with Ryan on building his business. Ryan don't keep track of his stuff. So I got to keep track of his people. I got to keep track of my people. I keep track of your people. So in doing it in this system, it's definitely a way that has been more scalable for me. This system I also use, it's free. So that's nice. And it collects email addresses, which over the last couple of months, I would say we've not gone 2 weeks without something going weird with Instagram or Facebook. especially in Messenger. My Instagram was down 2 days ago. I could only post 2 stories the whole day. And I had a really good one, but it happens. So in doing that, I'm keeping emails because I have a way to still get a hold of people after I talk to them in Messenger. And then I also have a way to talk to them, to continue to talk to them. And it makes my business, in my opinion, look a little bit more professional. Like, I'm communicating to you through email. I'm sending you this information. I can also batch message people, send a lot of things at once. All of your guys' messages, I write it personally, but I send it to all of you all at once because it's in the best interest of my time. I'm going to tell 10 people the same thing. I'll tell them 10 things the same thing all at once. And everybody gets the same message. So the system I use is called Google Streak. It's part of Gmail. And I will just show you how mine looks. But what I'm going to do after this call is I will email you through Google Streak a training for it that is 15 minutes long to set it up in your own Google if you want to do that. Or if you want to go pen and paper, you can go pen and paper too. That's not like, you go how you want to go, but I like digital. So let me pull this sucker up and I will show it to you. And keep in mind when you see mine, I've been doing this for over a year now. There's a lot of stuff in it. Whole lot of stuff in it, which that's just because I've been doing it for that long. And you can see gaps. You can see gaps where my business was hurting or where I was hurting and just wasn't paying attention. And it also helps to keep me accountable. So I'm gonna share my screen. Share this. So, all right. So here is my Gmail account. Really done a solid job checking it, right? But as I go into my email you see this little thing up here that says Streak. And then I can open this up and it says this thing called pipelines. So here is where I can track anybody I talk to in my business. So if I go to funnel, this is my funnel of people that I have talked to. So what I did and what this video does that I'll send you guys is this exported every single one of my Facebook friends by name and then put them into my funnel. So if I do this, this is every name, everyone in my Facebook, either sorted, not sorted, all kinds of stuff going on in there. 1.7K is in here. So if you want to export your Facebook friends, great. If you're just thinking of a list of people, like just off the top of your head, that's fine too. But I like having my first column called funnel. My second column that I have is previous client. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. People quit. I don't forget them. They stay in here. They go right back in my funnel and I'll check back in with them. Next thing I have is this month's list. So at the beginning of every month, kind of like around now is when, like, what's today, the 19th? I'm kind of starting to build my list for next month, kind of seeing who I'm talking to on social media, who maybe is interested in talking about this, or maybe we're just reconnecting and I don't want to invite them right away this month because that to me is icky. But maybe like they start talking to me about fitness right away, I'm going to invite them right away this month, you know? So that's this month's list. What I can do now though is I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do for my list. I can go straight into my funnel and I can click down the first 30 names. And those are the 30 people I'm going to talk to. We'll see what happens. If I need more, they're there in my funnel. So then I have this month's list. So these are all people that I want to talk to this month. Then I have next month's list. These are, you can tell I haven't used this section in a couple of months really. Or I might have already pulled them out of it. But these were people that I talked to that said, I'm not quite ready. Can you talk to me in a month? Okay. Their names are right there. I didn't forget them. I checked back in and I tell people, I'm like, hey, I had you down to talk to you this next month. Are you interested in this? Are you ready to go? What's going on? So that's where next month's list comes on. The following is, next column is called forming. Forming comes from this training that we used to do with Danny Johnson, where you're just having conversations with people. You're forming a relationship. Form is actually an acronym. I think that's the right word, where one letter stands for something else, the acronym. So form is F-O-R-M. F is family. So F stands for family, so write these down. O is occupation. R is recreation. So like what they do for fun. And M is their motivation or their why. Why do they do what they do? Not even just groups. I don't usually invite somebody until I know these 4 things about them. And what's cool about Streak is if I go into forming, I can leave notes from when I've been talking with people. So I get people through their Instagram handle. I get it through here. But within Streak, you're able to take notes, just like an Excel document, but kind of where this takes things a step further, like if you track stuff for work through Excel, is that it has that emailing component. So then I have forming. Then I have invite sent. If I send an invite, it goes here. And here's some people I've invited, I've talked to, like still updating, still have all of this going on. So these are all people that I've invited. Then I have follow-up convos. Follow-up convos means, yeah, I'm interested, tell me more. What more do they want to know? Where do they want to talk some more about stuff? Circle back means they gave me a hard no, or they didn't answer. If I don't hear from somebody, an invite sent in about 3 days, I usually send them a Ferris Bueller meme or something funny. Because I'm like, hey, was that a little weird? Like, kind of like if somebody doesn't answer your text message for a little bit, like, do you just be like, oh, I want to hide? Like, I mean, you can, but it's better if you just make fun of yourself if they're already making fun of you, I think. So then I respond with, so then I do one more follow-up there. And if I don't hear back, they go and circle back. And if they don't respond for a second time after I've done that follow-up, I'll say, hey, I don't know if this was the right time. It's kind of weird, but I feel weird about stuff. Let's talk again sometime soon. And then I'll follow up with them in a couple of weeks, something completely unrelated to Beachbody, like post a picture of their dog, post a recipe, post something about their kid. I still check in on them, so that helps me with the circle back list. Order instructions out means that I've sent somebody a link through Share a Cart, and I'm waiting for them to order. And then I also have a couple of other columns here. I have coaches. I'm friends with a lot of coaches on Facebook, so they're all in here. I keep track if I have conversations with coaches. You guys are not included in this because you're my downline. I have a different pipeline for you. But that's kind of where that one is. And then competitor products. If they sell something else, they go on there too, because if I find out that they're selling Flexes, I'm not going to talk to them a lot about Beachbody, but I still want to keep them on my radar. If they leave Beachbody and go to something else, we had several who left to go to a keto product a couple months ago, or a year ago now, I guess. Yeah, like a year. Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago. So I have that on that. And then I have people who are international. I have people in countries that we don't even have Beachbody on yet that I'm just friends with. So this is a girl in Germany that I talk to all the time. So just because we talk a lot. So she stays down there. So I still don't rule anybody out, but they're all here in this funnel. So that's kind of how regularly talking to people goes. And what you can do is, like, if I wanted to add somebody, so like say I added somebody that I was forming now, or added a new friend, all I would do is click in this little box. My computer's running slow because I'm sharing. But I'd click in this little box, and then I can hit the plus button. So I click box, and then it adds another box, and I can type their name right there. So I'm talking to Joe Schmo. I talked to Joe Schmo. I date it today. He has a lab, met him walking the dog. I don't know what he is on Instagram. This is for a separate account that I have. I don't have any of his contact information, but I've got him all set up there. So all that's all set up right there. So that's kind of the basics of keeping track of people within Streak that you're talking to. So we delete Joe Schmo. Then what I do is I have a clients tab. So this is all the groups I have. These are leads. This is anybody new. This is the groups that we've got going on. They all stay in here after they've purchased, so I can keep track of them as well. I have a coach management tab. This is where you guys are. You're under working, discount, inactive, canceled, or if you're another team coach, but maybe you like doing groups with me, I'm still going to keep track of you on here. So that's kind of where I keep track of all of that. So now we'll move kind of into with our last 15 minutes of chatting before we go into our Q&A. Does anybody have any questions on Streak right now? You can unmute yourself, or I can unmute everybody here for a second. Anybody have questions? Good. Okay. So, with my background working in marketing, I got some really great advice that I really hated at the time that I got from my boss. Her name's Christy. And what she told me is she's like, you never go faster than you can track. Because that's what I would do is I would go faster in my work and I just say, I'll catch up, I'll catch up, I'll catch up. So you can tell things come through the cracks and it's things that I'm working on. So you never go any faster than you can track when you're working your business. But you can keep track of 3 people a day that you're talking to, or even 1 person a day that you send an invite to. You can keep track of all of that. You can do it. So in order to run this business in 30 minutes a day, and that's 30 minutes of focused time in a day, specifically working on your business, you need a checklist. Corporate made us one that's really great. This is what I use. I actually have a digital version of it on my iPad, so I haven't updated this one now because I started using an iPad. If you guys were at Summit, I'm like obsessed with it because I have a pencil and I can write stuff. But this is called the Success Club System Tracker. And as you go closer into it, it actually tells you how much time you are supposed to spend on each item. However, you'll notice that this adds up to 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's not 30 minutes. The digital you can download through Beachbody. So they have a digital PDF. So that's all in your back office on there. And I'll also send you guys the link to that as well with this training after this call. So as far as this business, so we talk about working on, let me back up. So I need a drink. I need a drink. I'm getting fired up. Get fired up, guys. Okay. My desk just broke underneath. Oh no. Okay. So in this business, as we're helping somebody join us on the fitness side, we're basically asking them for 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day working out, plus incorporating the healthy eating into what they're already doing. So if you are saying, I want to be a working coach, you've already committed to that 30 minutes a day. Like you can't be a working coach and not work out and eat right. Like then you're a hypocrite. It just is. So it's kind of harsh, but that's kind of how it is. So you've got to be taking care of your own journey first. So that time does not count in those 30 minutes. But corporate was nice and put that time on here. So you're already doing that kind of time on this tracker. So this first section is be the proof the products work. Work out and drink Shakeology. Check, check. That's like writing your name on your SAT in Boy Meets World. You get like a certain amount of points right there. So there's your points right there. You've already done that. You haven't spent any extra time because you're already a challenger and you are rocking your own journey. The next part that they have is this connect, invite, follow up. And that's what it says takes 1 hour and 20 minutes. If you are just starting working your business and getting things going, there's the first section here called Initiate Connections and Add Followers. You already have a lot of followers on your social media already. I did not do this my first 2 years of working the business, because you think about it and you've got 30 people. Everybody has 30 friends on Facebook that aren't Beachbody coaches. And if you need to add more friends, you can find them in groups. You can friend some people at work, or you can just talk to people at work. You don't even have to add them to your Facebook account, especially if you're using Streak, and we do this through email because we run a group through the app. So you can talk through people from your work, that kind of thing. So this first section, I'm doing it now, building my business, but I would not spend any time focused on that. If you only have 30 minutes a day to build your business, but as you talk to people organically, you want to add that. So what I do is I make little tally marks here as I add people instead of checking the box. Because then that way I'm like, okay, I added this person, they're in the flow, and then whatever month that I start talking to them, or whatever month I'm planning on talking to them. But if I add somebody right away, like I message them the same day that I add, and that's already initiating a connection. So I've already started forming them, and they already count in my total of people. Does that make sense? Am I going too fast? Okay. So next thing we have is do a social media post that highlights the business, or that showcases the benefits of your healthy lifestyle, or has a call to action. They say this takes 10 minutes. I don't think it takes 10 minutes to write a social media post. I think you can write a social media post in less than 10 minutes, or you can think about it. It's not something where when you only have 30 minutes to work, you're not going to sit there drumming your fingers thinking, oh, what can my social media post be? That's something that can come to you during the day. That's something you can pull on somebody from the team to help you with an idea. All of those kinds of things going on there. But as you're going through your day, what you can be thinking of is, how can I share my journey? How am I talking about those kinds of things? And corporate already has that already has that outlined right here for you. So as you're thinking of your social media post, in the next blank on this, it's update your Instagram story throughout the day. It's got daily life, workout clips, product use, healthy meal prep, an invitation, and a recognition or a shout out. So if you're already doing this, what I like to think this top one is, so the social media post that takes 10 minutes, is basically the highlight of all of that through your day. Like, if you're like, Evie does a great job with it, like working out with her kids. She'll post a picture like, hey, we did a workout today. That's something. Or, hey, I made this recipe that was actually really good. Like something that you want to share to people, because as you've put this into your life and you're thinking about these particular lines right here, you're already doing this, and this is just the coolest thing that happened to you today. What I like to do is I have a calendar to where I talk about what's called my social media buckets, which we'll do a separate call on that. But basically, it's the top 5 to 7 things that define me. And that's what I talk about on my social media. Really only talk about 5 to 7 things. One of them is Beachbody and fitness. I talk about being pregnant because, duh, that's something I can talk to people about. I talk about travel. I talk about my family, which includes my dog and my husband. And I talk about having food allergies. Those are like my top 5 right there. Then I also just talk about living in Florida occasionally. And then there's just kind of like random stuff, like pageant stuff I'll put in there when I'm really talking about that, all of that kind of thing. But my Beachbody journey includes healthy eating, it includes recipes. So we'll do a separate call on that for our top 5 to 7. But I'm already in those categories. So I've already got that going on there. So by looking about this, you've already taken out half of the time that corporate says you should be spending on your business, because that's already in your daily life. So the 1 hour and 40 minutes looks overwhelming, but that's already stuff that you're doing subconsciously. So if you just become aware of that and think about it through your business filter, that can really help you there. The next line is respond to all new likes, comments, or views. That sounds a whole lot like initiate connections to me. It's also stuff that I can do while I poop. Yep. So, you check social media when you're in the bathroom, right? You can respond to people when you're in the bathroom and work. I literally did that. And we were all pooping because we were all in Shakeology. So, those are things that you can already do there too. And if it's somebody new to talk to and you need to start a conversation with them, Google Streak has an app, or you put it in the note section of your phone, and as soon as you get to a computer, you can start tracking those people too. But this is telling me to spend 25 minutes doing that. Like, I didn't do that at first. I literally did it from the bathroom because that's what we're doing in the bathroom anyway. We might as well be doing an income producing activity. IPAs, right? IPA, there's a lot of P jokes in there, man. There's a lot. So that stuff you're already naturally doing with your social media anyway. So I guess what I'm really trying to hammer home with you guys is we have a checklist, we have a guide, but there are so many things that you're already doing where you can easily manage this business in 30 minutes a day by just focusing on shifting your mindset a little bit from being a social media consumer to a social media user. Because you're consuming content, but all that time scrolling your news feed, seeing what other people are doing, comparing your butt to Felicia, like, maybe Felicia wants to join a challenge group. You know, you don't know. So getting past that hurdle and that mindset, you're already having this as part of your life because you've decided to be a working Beachbody coach and consciously helping people with that goal of building your business to Emerald, hitting Success Club 5 or beyond. That's what you're already doing. So really the only focus time, the next two ones here is 15 minutes and 15 minutes. This is the time where you set the timer and you have the conversations, is only these last two boxes here. And they are invite at least 5 people to join a challenge group or learn about the coaching opportunity. If you're inviting 5 people a day to join a challenge group, you are already, like, we're talking about only needing to invite 1 person a day to hit our goal. So you're already 5xing that. Like, Grant Cardone is going to be checking his message while he's shitting his pants in the bathroom with you doing that, because you're already 5xing. So if inviting 5 people is scary, just change that to 1. This is your business. Edit your checklist and change that to a 1. And it shouldn't take you 15 minutes to do that. But for me, I do try to invite 5, and this is one where I also do the tally mark. I don't invite every single day of the week. I tend to take Saturdays off from inviting and use that mostly for following up and just staying a little bit on top of my inbox, but I do try to unplug on Saturdays. I did unplug on Sundays because I am religious and I practice Sundays the day of rest, but I also realized that by taking Sundays off, I wasn't serving people very well because Sunday is the day when people meal prep. So I changed my Sabbath to Saturday, and I just happen to go to church on Sundays. So that's something, if that's for you or taking that into consideration, you can still do that. You can still take your day of rest. But I thought, how do I serve people? And I serve people by helping them. And if they're going to do it on Sundays, then I'm going to have to work on Sundays. So that was kind of part of that for me. But maybe you have people who meal prep on Saturday. Maybe you set the precedent saying, hey, Sundays I'm kind of unplugged, but I'll check my messages. But I like to unplug Saturdays. That's the days that we go fishing, that kind of thing. So you've invited your 5 people. This next one is your follow-ups. 15 minutes is following up with people, checking in with people. In these 2 boxes right here, these 2 boxes on the bottom, that is where you're keeping track of people in your streak. That's where the extra time comes from. I'm not actually spending 15 minutes talking to every single person. Doing this for a year, I can do about a message and a track a minute. Like, that's as fast as I can go if I'm like absolutely rapid firing. But like, I think about 5 minutes, having a conversation-ish with people, tracking that you've talked to them, but keeping your messenger open for 30 minutes and doing that kind of thing, that's sort of where those 30 minutes come from. And then following up with people you've talked to, which is initiating conversations and adding followers, which is responding to all new likes, comments, and views. Like, do you guys see how that kind of fits into here on this checklist? Like, you can have the more intentional time, you can spread out your time more doing this, but as you're starting your business, getting the hang of it, finding your hours, you really just focus on these two here and tracking, and the rest follows within your day, keeping your perception that you're doing your coaching. Get people results, contribute to your challenge group. You're already doing that. As a challenger, you're already contributing to a challenge group. We have it a requirement in our group. You have to post once a day. That's already happening. Recognizing achievement. You're already cheering people on in your group because you are a good person. You're already doing that. So you are good there. So this checklist is amazing, and it's not as daunting as it looks. So following something like this, which coaches designed through the Coach Advisory Board, has been a game changer for me this year and in keeping track of my business, because I'm like, what do I do? So it lets you do it for a whole week. It starts your week on Thursday. Why does it start your week on Thursday? Who knows? Put it in the chat. Oh, you guys are typing. Evie's like, I'm driving. I know. Payday! Yes, Thursday's payday. So a Beachbody week starts on Thursdays, so that's why this starts on Thursdays. That's also kind of why I like taking Saturday and Sunday a little bit slower, because it's in the middle of the week. So it's kind of like my hump day. The last section on this is personal development. Engage in personal professional development, which we know already in this group, already from our CEO, Carl. Personal development is more important than your workout. He has said that multiple times. You guys know I take what Carl says like gospel. Like, he has said that more than on one occasion, and that is why I love this company so much. So you're already doing that too. If you're not doing personal development, download some podcasts, download some Audible, and listen to it while you're in the car, while you're driving, while you're in the shower. Am I an auditory learner? No, but I can tell you that listening, there's so many statistics and studies out there just in psychology in general about thinking about your business and focusing on positive stuff and hearing positive things rather than hearing like, Pose went to the bar, Jay went to party. Like that's going to be better for your mind. So if you're listening, so putting in positive words and doing that personal development, whatever it is in your journey, even if you're not the greatest at retaining things audibly, it's still better than listening to other things going on, following stuff on social media that's not super positive. It's all about filling your cup first. When I do mine is I don't listen to the radio very much when I drive. If I'm driving more than an hour, like in a day, I need the radio because I can't retain more than that, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good if I'm getting an hour of PD in. And I can't listen to PD while I work because that's just too hard for me to focus, but I listen to it when I'm in the car. And I also do 15 minutes of intentional PD a day. And I do that as my Energize kicks in. So I take my Energize before my workout, and that's when I'm writing and journaling. Right now I'm doing because it's very, personal development is personal. And what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a devotional for an expectant mom. And that's what I'm working on in the morning. And that's what I write down. And then I journal. And once I get the tingles through my Energize, I get up and get going. Otherwise, I will journal all day till kingdom come if I could. So that's kind of where that time comes from too, and fitting that in. So as you're looking at your business and your focused 30 minutes, those 30 minutes are clearing your inbox. So your checklist for those specific 30 minutes after going through this, cleaning your inbox and messaging new people. So cleaning your inbox, messaging new people, or starting conversations based on who's interacted with the social media you're already sharing, because we are in an age of social media sharing, and tracking those people that you've already been talking to either in your Google Streak, in your notebook. Some people use this system called Teamzy. It's paid, so I don't use it. It's $15 a month. I used to use it, and it was nice because it could track my income and all that kind of stuff, but I wasn't getting more out of it than I get out of Streak, and I would rather keep the $15 in my pocket, and I actually invest that into some social media analytics tools instead. So those are the 3 things that you need to be doing during that focused 30 minutes of your business. Then the rest of your day is just being conscious of what's going on, having little power pockets where you think about your social media. At Summit, they had a great idea. They said you set an alarm on your phone 3 times a day. And during that alarm, if you haven't posted anything on social media, then you should. And you add to your story, and you keep thinking, what's going to be my highlight of the day that goes with your social media calendar, which we'll do our next call on, I think will be social media calendar, unless somebody else has another idea. So we'll have that going on. So we'll have our social media calendar and sharing all of that as part of your regular day and your time. So how I managed my business. When I was working for Universal, so I don't know if you guys know my whole story. I used to work for Universal. I worked in social media. Before that, I worked in advertising. I was responsible for project management and getting projects done. And basically, what I do with my Beachbody business is I project management like it's a flyer. Anybody goes to Universal, the park map, I helped develop that park map. They still use it. Makes me happy. I haven't worked there in three and a half years. So I worked for Universal. Very demanding job, very busy place to work, a lot of distractions. I could go run my business at lunch, or I could go ride a roller coaster, legit. So had that going on. I also babysat. I had to babysit on the weekends to help pay medical bills because I was going through a cancer scare, and I had a high deductible plan to where each test cost me $200. I had to get them every other week. So I had to babysit at least twice a week. I sold t-shirts in an arena. The people that are vendors, I would take off time from Universal to go sell t-shirts at this arena once a month because I made more money in one night of that than I did in a whole week at my full-time job, to which I have a 4-year degree for. So I had those 3 jobs. And then Beachbody coaching, when my coach Nicole was like, hey, be a Beachbody coach, I was like, you got to be flipping kidding me. I already have 3 jobs. I have all of this. But what did I do? I started taking 30-minute lunch breaks. I used the other 30 minutes of my lunch break to do my focused time working on my business, because that's when other people that I wanted to talk to check their social media, was on their lunch break. And then I would check it in the evenings before I went to bed. But my phone, like, my goal is that my phone is off by 8 p.m. every night. And I still pretty much hold to that, unless my husband's traveling, because 8 p.m. on is our kind of family time. His phone goes off too. So that's a big part of it for us. So checking my phone starting at, like, while I'm cooking dinner, I'll kind of like check messages then, or like hanging out watching TV kind of mindlessly to just wind down from the day. I'm like, oh, let me double check, make sure I didn't miss anybody. But if you can hold to those 30 minutes a day during your lunch break, you can do this. Like, you really can. And I mean, I've made an income every single month of this business except for one. And that one month I had surgery and I didn't work because I was so insecure with myself that I couldn't use my hand, that I couldn't use this business, that I didn't work. I didn't talk to anybody, and I didn't make money. But talking with people, helping with people, talking and inviting somebody, one person a day to this business, you can make that money and you do have time to do it. You just have to find where that pocket is. Maybe it's, I was talking with one of our coaches at Summit. She has to pick up her kids at daycare by a certain time, but has been picking them up early. So I straight up told her, I said, do you care more about picking your kids up early from daycare or each day, or having more time with them in a year? And she was like, I could have more time with them in a year if I stopped at Starbucks for 30 minutes a day to work my business. I'm like, yeah, and you would be making money to pay for that coffee. So those are all ways that you can find time too. It is a sacrifice, but all good things that come are some level of sacrifice. But I also do think of it as the bigger picture. I feel like this is kind of a mission. Like, this is my job to help people find a way to a more healthy life. Like, you guys wouldn't be here if I didn't say something, whether it was unintentionally talking about my story. Like, Evie knew my story from social media. I didn't even know she was creeping me. I had her on a list because I was like, oh, they have this gluten-free stuff. I think Evie would like it. And I reached out to her. And she's like, I've been following you for months. Like, I didn't know. And if I hadn't said something, I wouldn't have known. So you never know where people are, and you can find a way to make this work. But being consistent, keeping people front of mind with your tracking, and giving yourself those 30 minutes a day to be an entrepreneur. It might take a month, it may take 3 months, but you are going to see the rewards on that. And you guys, I know you can do it, because I wouldn't have asked you to be on my team if you can't. I'm an entrepreneur. I can hire and fire as I choose. I don't ask people to be on my team that I don't want on my team. So you guys are all doing great things. That's about all I have there. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to unmute everybody that you would want on the recording, and then I'll stop the recording if anybody has other questions that they don't want to live into however long I post this for. Are you guys just like mind blown, mic drop? Okay.
Well, I definitely want one on social media, because I think I'm worried about what I'm posting sometimes and if it's the right way to put stuff.
Okay. And if you guys are worried about that, like, feel free to message me. Like, you guys know, if you need something from me quick, text me. If you need it within 24 hours, DM me. But I answer texts until 8 p.m., sometimes later if Ryan's traveling. But I really don't mind helping screen your posts, especially, like, I mean, that's how I met Nicole, was I have a social media business. So if you need help with that and checking that, I'm happy to help you. But usually, like, I'm reading what you guys post, and if it's a little, like, if it ends up being worrisome, I'll message you. Because I'm on social media a lot more than I should be, because I'm just so addicted to it. But that's also with part of how I've been working, that I'm able to structure my life. So there's that.